And what's interesting to me is you've used your fame to help with special causes, and one in particular, my dad was a vet, is the work you've done to help our vets.
Yes, sir. Well, that's one of the reasons you love Bob. He loves our troops, you know. I love our
Absolutely.
troops. I got that love for our troops from watching my father tell his stories about the Army. You see, he left the set of the Andy Williams shows to go serve our nation during a very scary time during Vietnam. And, he had his number called up. He was getting ready to get shipped out. And he was nervous. He was scared. His dad, my grandpa served in World War II as an Army sergeant, but he was ready to go because serving his country was more important to him than being famous. And so he lined up, he signed up, and then right before they shipped him out, they called the orders off because they said these guys are getting slaughtered over there. They need more training. So, anyways, he started doing more training, and before the training ended, the war ended. So my father ended up never having to go over to Vietnam, but he was ready. In fact, my father won three out of the four trophies at Fort Ord, California. He didn't know there was trophies involved. He even had to test out with a completely different platoon than the one that he had trained with because Andy
Yeah.
Williams called the Army and says, I want Alan to be on the show. It was a Christmas special. They want to see the soldier coming home. Anyways, so he went and did the show, but he had to test out with a completely different platoon. So when he came back, he says, go see Sergeant so and so. He's got some of your stuff. He's thinking, I didn't leave anything here. He says, go see him. All right. So he goes. And he walked in that office, and the sergeant says, Osmond, that was the blankety blankest, boringest award ceremony we've ever had. Best marksman, Osmond, not here. Best soldier overall, Osmond, not here. He got three out of the four, and he only missed the fourth by about three monkey bars. And the guy that beat him went on to the Olympics. So, guys, my dad was a lean, mean fighting machine. My great uncle's a Pearl Harbor survivor. I love our troops. I'm an honorary command sergeant major. I can't believe I got that title. They even let me in the Pentagon. How crazy is that? But I'm just grateful for the service that they bring to our country. I try to teach my children what is a veteran. It's a man or a woman who, at one point in their life, wrote a blank check to the United States of America for the amount of up to and including their own life. Now, if that's not worth celebrating, I don't know what is.
Well, it's so important. Like I said, my dad did 28 and a half years in the Navy. I was prepared to serve, but I was in the same numerical draft that your dad was. And my draft number was 232, and I was a college student. And I got a letter from the draft board that said, "Hey, you're 1A." And I'm shaking, and I go, "This is about March of my freshman year of college, a couple
Yeah.
months left." And I call the phone, I call the local draft board, and they say, "Mr. Shine, don't worry about it. The highest draft number that's going to be called in Philadelphia this year, where they had a huge amount of volunteer activity, is
Yeah.
75. Your number is 232."
Oh,
So,
wow.
I lived out all of my exposure under the old draft number system, under the old draft system, and then they eliminated the draft. So
Yeah.
I was prepared to go in and do it, and it's just a really interesting process. But I was very committed to going to college. Neither of my parents went to college, so that was really pivotal.